Hey girls, come in, come in. Odd for me to be here on a Saturday. I am Judy and you are on Vintage Too Chic and we're going to paint a rabbit today. If you're new, when you come on, if you're new, let us know you're new, first time. If you're not catching us live, then let us know when you come on by hashtag replay. We're glad to have you and welcome you. Just waiting for a few to come on and see. Hey Teresa, how are you? See if I can pull it up on my iPad down here. Miss Patsy, hey Dana. Hello girls. Let me go out and back in. See if it pops up. Always a iffy thing. Okay, there we are. Let's hope I can see that down there. Most of the time I can see my comments up here on my tablet. I have an Android that I film on and it's the best piece of equipment that I have, but I don't like to work on it on a day-to-day basis. It's so windy here, girls. You'll probably hear the wind roar in a few minutes. It is really rough here today. We didn't get any of the storms, though, like a lot of people got, and I'm thankful for that. I did set my weather clock last night, my weather thing that lets you know the weather's going on, and it beeped all night. So finally this morning it beeped so many times I got up and went to the living room to sleep on the couch. Oh. Hi Lorraine. We're going to paint a bunny today. I showed you this one the other day when we was painting. This is the one we're going to do today. We're going to try to work and talk at the same time. I was too busy. I was so busy yesterday I met myself coming and going. Hi Linda. It was busy all day long yesterday. Let me get my... Fridays are always hectic for me by the time I get to run errands and do different things, so it's always busy. But last night I did the resin, and I showed you girls the resin pieces this morning. 60-mile-an-hour winds. It's sad. It's so many storms going on across the country, and so many people are getting so much damage. It's sad. It's hard to, you know, it's a bad thing. It's just bad. We've been lucky here in our area. I've been here 13 years this month. I've lived here. I've been in and out of here for, you know, years and years, but we've only had a real chance of tornadoes one year, and that scared me to death. Electric went off. No, I don't want my electric to go off, and my husband's oxygen dependent, so that's, you know, I definitely don't want the electric to go off. Hi Charlene. Thank you for the prints. Got them, are beautiful. Thank you. You're quite welcome. I'm glad you like them. Okay. Hey, Miss Ruthie. We're going to get started, girls. We'll talk and try to work and talk at the same time. So let's see where we get going down here. Well, I lost it again. And Lord, I can't keep it up down on my iPad. I'm going to have to go out and back in again. See if we come back up. Okay, but I can't see the comments down there, so it doesn't do any good anyway. Hey, Sherry, Miss Emma. We did that bunny the other day, and this one, I had 2 of these. So I thought, well, Easter's coming, and I'm tired of doing Easter stuff. So you do that when you start, if you're selling, you start doing the holiday that you need 2 or 3 months ahead of time. So I've been painting Easter stuff since Christmas. And, you know, along with in December, we start working on things for spring. So I'm ready to move on now. And the next one, I'll do some spring things, and then I'll move on into Halloween. I'll be working on Halloween in the next few weeks. So we're going to work on this. This is the way he started. And I have base coated. I've changed his pants and put white on his pants. And this piece is slick. You know, when you buy these, they're slick. So I wanted to seal that. And I did use chalk paint. I put chalk paint, one coat of chalk paint on his hat and the egg and his little bow here. And then I went back in with just my regular craft paint. And I've probably got about 4 coats on his pants. I'm going to stripe his pants. I repainted the pink. I'm going to leave the green up here on his hat. Repainted the pink. I'm going to redo his bow and redo the egg and put some stripes on his pants. His face is already pretty, and he's done. Other little one we done last week I sold right away, so he's already went out. And so I'm going to get started on this one. I think, like I said, I'm going to stripe his pants. Hi, Kathy. I'm going to put some pinstripes on his pants, so I'm going to find me a small brush that I want a flat brush that I hope will make a good straight line, so I may have to check out 2 or 3 brushes here before I find the proper one. I'm without my teeth again, all of them. I had to go back to the dentist this week, and they're making my new partial, so I had to leave what partial I had at the dentist. And I'm not going to get it back for a couple of weeks, so my teeth are gone completely again. Okay, like my apron. That's one, you know, I've been telling you about Ross Stall Cup. Okay, this is apron. I'm going to stand up and let you see it. See, this I painted in a class with her. We did a class at Virginia Beach one year, and this sunflowers we painted on an apron. And this is the name, Gran's Garden is the name of her business. And this was a workshop, Gran's Garden workshop that we went to that year. And it's handy. It's real good. I've had it for probably 20 years. And when we done them in class, everybody autographed the bottom of it. But as you can see, mine's dirty now. And all the autographs, the times I've watched it, all the autographs came off. But there was probably 40 of us there at that seminar. And when we done the aprons and painted them, everybody signed everybody else's apron. So it was good, but it's been a good one. It's a canvas thing. So I use it, but it's been washed a lot. Okay, now let me get my thoughts again. Okay, I'm going to paint this egg purple. So the black will only get 1 coat, not purple, but aqua. And I'm going to use metallics on the egg. So anytime you're using metallics, as I have told you before, your metallics, your metallics are transparent, so I always choose a color that matches my metallics. Doesn't matter what the color's called. This one's folk art and this one's a deco art. So when I go to Hobby Lobby, if I'm going to buy metallic paints, I go pick out the metallics I want. Then I come back, took a class about 20 years ago from Ross. Yeah, I did too. I went to her Virginia Beach place two years in a row. I might have went 3, I can't remember. But I know I went 2 and stayed a week at a time, and I loved that. That's just, she's been one of my favorite teachers through all the years of taking classes. She's one of my favorite artists. Okay, but if you just go buy your metallic or get your metallic paint and then go back to the paint section and get you a pattern, just look and match them. This one's is regular paint and this one's metallic. So I'm going to put the regular paint on first because that gives a base for that metallic. If I would just put this metallic on this white egg, it would take 6, 8, 10 coats. If it covered it all, it would take that many. So what I'm going to do is put a coat of the base coat first. And this one's called Teal, and this metallic's called Teal, but they're 2 different brands. So I'm going to put a little bit of this out on my palette over here. And I'm going to paint this egg so that it will get dry while I'm doing his, well, I can't get it out of the bottle. There's my phone. While I'm doing the pants, the egg will dry. I'm going to polka dot his his pink jacket so we don't have to do much to it. These bunnies are all real pretty anyway, so you just need to, to spruce them up a little bit. So I'm just going in here with my teal and putting a coat of that. I've painted that egg white first. And I'm going right in here and put a coat of this teal on the egg. I love doing the resin, girls. I did the resin last night. I set it up in my kitchen late last night just for bedtime so I could just do it, and then everybody would be in the bed and it would sit there on my bar and dry last night. And I love that. Putting resin on your pieces, on your trays and things, just opens them up. It makes everything pop, and it makes it food safe. And it's something I'll be doing a lot of now. We doing that. We done a piece last week in my private class, and that's how come me to do the resin, to teach those girls how to do the resin. So we worked on that in my private group. We done another round tray, and then I'm teaching them how to do the resin. Bad for the weather today. A lot of our places around here today had egg hunts. So this weather is not, good for the kids out trying to hunt eggs. Hopefully it'll be gone before next Sunday, before Easter. A lot of the churches and stuff, some of them have them this weekend, and then some of them have them, can you hear that? Some of them have them next weekend, like on Saturday. Our church has one on next Saturday. I'm just using a flat brush and just getting this on to get it covered. I love the metallic colors. Ella and I do like the resin. We done resin many, many, many years ago, Daryl and I, when we had the craft shop. And back then it was so popular to put resin on, do pictures of your kids or whatever on boards. I've still got some large pictures Daryl poured of our kids. When they were little, he made some things, and he used to do that cypress wood. When we'd make it run to Florida, we'd go to Florida to visit his family, we'd pick up those cypress slabs, and he would pour those. So he did a lot of it, but it was a lot more complicated then. The stuff they have today is a lot easier to use than that was. We used to use Envirotex. Okay, I've got one coat on his egg. Now I'm going to, let's see what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and jump up here. I think I'm going to put some purple stripes around his hat. So I'm going to choose my shade. Let's see what I've got sitting around here that's purple. Let's try this one. This is kind of a bluish purple. This is called Blue Harbor, so it's a little bit mix of a blue and a purple. And the stripes were pink to begin with, and because that's slick and the paint doesn't adhere good, I did put a coat of white on those stripes before I put this color on. So I'm going to take just a little bit of that and go up here and do the stripes around my hat. There's not a lot of shading or a lot of detail stuff you have to do to something like this. It's just a matter of color book, like color painting. Not much to talk about. I wish you all could talk too. I don't know, Emma. If I do the resin, I'll have to check, because I'm trying to do different things in that group. Those people are paying. When you pay to be in a group, I'm trying to do different things in there than what I do on the regular page, because that is what you want to do. You want to learn more advanced things and different things. You can come along and join us. One of the ladies, I posted her cake plate, done a good job. Nancy's been with me since I started. And she's done some great, she's went a long way in the last year that she started decoupage. Okay. Did you plan all the colors going to use before you start? You go with the flow. I do both, Ellen. I usually try to think about what I'm going to do. You know, I do, but sometimes that might change. I might do that and I'll think, well, I need this other color instead of that one. But I do kind of get an idea. I kind of get an idea in my head of what I want to, you know, what I want to put on it, something like this. If it changes, that's okay. Or you might start one thing and think, well, that'd look better if I done it the other way. So you do it, you know, you change it. But I didn't want to have to paint the whole rabbit white and start, you know, I don't want to do that. That's too much work to, when he's already got some nice things on him. The painting on these things is pretty, but it's never neat. It's never, you know, they just slap it on there. So sometimes you have to clean it up. You know, you have to change the color to get your lines and get it cleaned up some. I've got a sale in my shop, in my Etsy shop, in my finish shop. I have a sale going on this week. A lot of things are 20% off. I'm closing out a lot of stuff. Most of what's on sale is all one-of-a-kind things. So if you over there and look, and then I'm going to have a sale in my design shop probably tomorrow. Start it tomorrow and have like a 3-day sale in it. Okay, color looks pretty good. It's bright. Got one more up here to paint. Then I can put some polka dots or something inside this color to make it stand out a little bit more. I've painted a lot of rabbits, but then too I bought a lot of rabbits, so I've still got a lot, and I'm just going to store them. Like I said, I'm tired of painting them. I'm going to store them. But now people who decorate for holidays, they buy, you know, I sell, a lot of times I'll sell Halloween stuff in January. And people right now will start it with, if you have a shop, people right now will start with the buying Christmas decorations and fall decorations because they buy it a piece or two at a time. One of the boards I did resin is lemons, and lemons is one of my top sellers. I sell lots of stuff with lemons on it, and I have lots of regular customers who decorate with lemons, and they come back to see what's new. Okay, see, so I've got that around there now. Now let's see if I need to clean it up a little. Now I'm gonna, I don't know what color to paint his bow tie. I think I'm going to do that bow tie in black and put some white dots on it. Okay, I'm going to jump down here now and put some stripes on his pants. And this is just a freehand thing. You have to just, you know, they don't have to be the same. It's like pinstripes, and his pants are hanging like the flow of the pants. You do not have to have them the same size. Emma, she did a great job on her cake plate. Yeah, what's my favorite item to create? I don't know. I really don't know. I like painting. And I like painting the checks and stuff. I started today working on another tray. Joe's cut me a bunch of trays. Now this one, I did this one. This is the lemon one that I did. and put the resin on last night. See, that's hard to show you in the thing. But this is a riser. This has legs on it, and I've still got to clean up the bottom of it. But I love doing the lemons, and they show up so pretty. See that? So I like doing them, and I'm working on a square tray back here too that's lemons. And I like piecing things. This is all put on. Now this pattern is one that's in my shop. And I had it in my shop. We did this last year around a set of canisters. And this time I took the background out of it. So now in my shop I'm going to add that print to the design in there. So when you purchase that one, you'll get two. You'll get one with the background on it, which we had on the canisters, and another one that's just plain like this one. So I like cutting things out, and I like to cut them out and, you know, piece them together is what I really, really like to do. Okay, so I'm going to take this and use my black. Got to make sure I got out some good black here. How do I clean up resin on the bottom of the tray? I'm going to leave that up to Joe. I think we can sand it. I'm not sure how he'll do it. I'll have to find out. I told him, called him this morning. He's sleeping in today. So I told him this morning, I said, you're going to have to clean the resin off of that. Plus the others, we're putting handles. A lot of the other trays have handles. If they're tray, they have a handle on them. So when we pour them, we're going to have to drill that to make a handle. But Cherry, the resin is self-leveling. It levels itself. So it, you know, it'll go around your sides and stuff. It's just something you just have to practice and play with, you know, to learn how to do it. But it is self-leveling. I've sanded, Linda, I think sanding will do it, but I don't want to sand it by hand. So I'm going to let him do that in the shop, and, you know, to get it off of the bottom. Okay, I've got a little bitty brush here. This is like a size 2, and I'm just going to go around to the back because that's not going to show as much. And I'm going to start right up here on his pants, and I'm going to pull me a stripe down through there. Trying to keep my edges as clean as I can, and come down with that. The tray I'm working on now is square, or not really. Well, it's kind of rectangle. It's almost a square. But he cut me rounds and squares, rectangles, cut me some different size ones. Then I'm just going to go right beside that one and work my way right on around with another stripe. I want my edges to be as clean as I can get the edges. But they don't have to be the same distance apart, and they don't have to be exactly the same size. Because they are pants, and there would be wrinkles or whatever in your pants where everything wouldn't show exactly the same. Okay, see, now I've got 2 on there. I'm going to go right on around that leg. My little finger is what controls that brush and helps me to get a light touch. I'm barely touching that paint to the table. You'll see I'm picking up paint real often. I never put much paint on my brush. And I'm just barely dragging it down there, so it doesn't go very far because I don't have much paint on there. But I can get a better control on it if I don't have much paint on that brush. I don't want to put a big gob of paint on the end of that brush and then go in there and try to get rid of those edges and stuff that creates. Okay. I even baked a cake yesterday, and I hadn't baked a cake in a long time. Used to bake a lot. When we went to church all the time, I was baking and making desserts all the time, but I hadn't for a while. Be sure you share out the videos, girl. Share everything you share out helps the page to grow, and the hearts and the when you send the hearts and stuff, that helps the algorithm. I like doing this. I'm not, my money comes from my shops, and I like making the money and selling the designs and stuff. And I like teaching you, but I don't want to depend on Facebook for, to make money at it. I've had the awfulest time with the U.S. Postal Service this year, worse than I've had in a long time. And I shipped a lady a rabbit. I shipped her 2 rabbits together. She bought 2 together. Got them there, and one was broke. So I shipped her another one, and it got broke. And I shipped her a third rabbit this week. So today I told her, I said, hopefully third time's a charm. Today I got a message from her, said it had arrived safely. Then I had a big one. That was the small ones. And then I had one of the $100 rabbits to get broke. And it's, collecting, they insure, but collecting from UPS is like pulling teeth. Very, very involved and very hard to do. And most of the time, I don't even fool with it. I've collected a couple of times. And I sent one of the girls in here that won some prints in my group last week. I sent her some prints. And when I ship my printed designs, I put them in a plastic sleeve and then in the package. And it's a good thing because her package was soaking wet when she got it. She sent me a picture of it, and it was just, the whole thing was wet. But thank goodness, because I had put the designs in a bag, they weren't messed up. They don't pay any attention to how they treat your packages, what they do to them. See, I've got one side of his pants, one leg done there. They don't pay a bit of attention to how they treat them or throw them or whatever they do. They don't pay no attention. I had one time a tea kettle got run over, literally run over by the truck. I didn't even have to file a thing on that. They just automatically sent my money to me. Because they knew. They sent a picture of the tea kettle and the box and sent my money back to me. In the shipping services, we only have 3. We have UPS and FedEx and U.S. Postal Service. So some other companies that ship, like we ship with Pirate Ship, but that's U.S. Postal Service. They're just a company that's a go-between between you and the Postal Service. Like Etsy, when we sell on Etsy, we use Etsy shipping, but it's the Postal Service. Boy, that wind, I can hear it. Can you hear that wind blowing on here? It's a whistling. Whistling Dixie. Trying to make some videos for YouTube. You give lots of tips as you work. That's the way I've always taught, Dorothy. I taught for 25 years, and you have to teach every class unless you're teaching live. When I had my shop and I was teaching live, I had ladies who worked, we'd take a break in the summertime, but I have ladies who would paint with me, would start in the fall when school started, and they would paint with me, and then in the spring they would stop for a couple months and they'd come back in the fall. Well, if you're working with a class like that and you have the same people in every class, then you can move on. You know, you don't have to repeat yourself. But if you're on here and you're doing this, you have to do every class like it's all beginners, because there are people on here who have seen me for the first time, and if I didn't explain what I was doing, you know, it wouldn't be fair to them. They wouldn't come back. They'd say, well, I can't do that, you know, she don't tell you how to do that. And I'm just used to that. You know, I'm used to teaching that way. If I do something, I want to tell you how and why I do that, or my way. That don't mean it's the right way. That means it's the way I've learned and the way I like to do it. There's always a better mousetrap. Everybody can teach you something. The more people you watch, the better off you are, because you'll learn a little something. You'll learn a little something from everybody. And then you develop that into what your own design is. And then you've got your own style. And what you like, we all like to do different things. Some things I don't like to paint. And some things the next feller wouldn't like to paint. Or to do. But now I had, like I said before, I've painted for years and years. And when I come to Tennessee and decided to, you know, to quit painting so much, and I didn't have the room down here. I had a studio when I lived in West Virginia. And I come down here to, you know, no place to work. And I thought, and then my friend was a clay sculptor. And we'd been friends for years, and she quit doing the show. And she said, Mary told me, she said, Judy, why don't you sculpt clay? I said, Mary, I can't do that. Sit there and roll that clay and do that, you know. Yes, you can too. So she got me into the clay. And I liked doing that, and I done it for about 3 years. I went to the next show I went to that fall, I went with clay. And I made Christmas ornaments, and the good thing about that is you could take one tub to the show and have $1,000 worth of merchandise in one tub. So that was a good thing. But after a couple years, I wanted to paint, because painting's what I love. And then I saw decoupage, and I thought, well, I'm going to see if I can do that. I'm just going to give it a try. And decoupage added to your painting opens a whole new world to you. When you mix the two together, then you've got a whole new route to go. And that's what I like to do. I like to mix the two of them. Then last year I decided I would learn to design. I wanted to do things that I couldn't find. And I thought, well, now I'm going to learn to design my own patterns so I can make what I want to make. And I started doing that. I'm a firm believer that you can do anything you want to do. Some things you will be better at. Naturally, you'll get better at them, but you can accomplish it if you set your mind to it. When I first started going to the church I had, and I taught some candy classes at church, probably the first year I was over there. I taught candy classes for the ladies of the church, and then I did other things, and some of the ladies would ask me, is there anything you can't do? Is there anything you don't do? I said, well, I do lots of stuff, and if I want to do it, I'll learn one way or the other how to do it. Almost got it. Tips are greatly appreciated. I thank you, Sherry. I thank you for that. I'm tongue-tied today. if it gives you one little hint and makes it easier for you, then you've learned something. And you'll do things for, even me, I'll do things the same way for years and years, and then I'll watch somebody else. I'll go on YouTube and watch a video, or I'll watch another crafter here and she's doing the same thing but a whole lot easier than what I was doing it at. So I think, well, that's so simple, I need to go back and do that way too. Okay, I've got his pants all striped. See? Got them striped. Okay, we don't like too much finishing him. Now I'm going to jump back up here and put me another coat on the egg, and another coat of the color around his hat. Did you base coat I base coated the pants. You didn't finish the sentence there, Joyce. I base coated his pants. This was the colors of him. When I started, this was his color. So his bow, I base coated his bow, and I used chalk paint because this is slick and I was just painting in spots. So I base coated the bow, and I base coated the egg, and I base coated his pants with chalk paint. Then I went back with regular paint. After I put the chalk paint on there, I went back with just my craft paint, and I put, the pants probably has 4 coats, maybe 5. But I got, oh Lord, you're ironing. I don't iron anymore. If it don't come out of the dryer wearable, I don't wear it. Okay, so, but I base coated the egg. So I'm going to go in now and I'm going to paint the stripes at the top again. I'm getting tongue-tied, girls. I get confused trying to read the questions and do what I'm doing too. That's called old age, you know it? Okay, right on around his stripes again. Most colors you will have to put 2 coats on unless you're working with black. Very few colors are one and done. Most all of them are 2 colors, 2 coats, sometimes even more than that. I'll go back and put some more pink in his ears, reinforce that to doctor his ears up a little bit. I will spray this one as a sealer. I do not try to brush coat these pieces like this that have got so many crooks and crannies in them. I don't try to brush coat them. I use the Rust-Oleum gloss sealer. It's the same as the spray paint I use. And I'll take him outside and spray him, and he'll get a couple coats of spray varnish. If you sit and try with a brush to varnish something like this, it takes forever, and it's hard to do that and it not run on you. The varnish will run while you're trying to get in all the little pieces, all the little places. Okay, got that on. That makes it look better. Now I need another coat on the egg, and this time I'm going to put the metallic on. I did the teal in the regular. Now I'm going to do the teal in the metallic. Now, get a brush here. Let's try this one. I love the metallic colors, especially for whimsical things. They are so pretty, and in metallics there's so many different colors now. And I think that's only going to take 1 coat, since I put that undercoat on there. Looks like it's going to cover pretty good. Seems like spring here in Tennessee is late. Usually by now we've got to, been having to mow grass and ready to plant flowers and stuff. But now it's one day it's 80 degrees and the next day it's 35. I would iron shirts on. Occasionally I have something that I might iron. I might, have a blouse or something that I might iron. But normally I don't. When I was a kid, you had to iron everything. Mommy made us iron t-shirts and bed sheets. We had to iron it all. Okay, see. Now, I'm going to decide, I'm going to do his bow in black, so I'm going to leave that for a minute. And I'm going to, let's see, I think I will put a few little checks on the lapel. Let me try some checks up here on his collar of his jacket. I'm going to see if I can check around that collar. Got to take a little teeny tiny flat brush so I can make little bitty checks. And I'm going to go right down through here and put me some little checks. Okay, I'm going to come from this end up. Come up and put me some little checks in there. See? Come right up through there, go right beside those and put another row. Put some checks on his lapel. Then I'm just going to put some polka dots on his jacket. Every little bit you do to him helps a little. So it all comes together. And I've got a wild hair on my brush. Little brushes are very, very hard to keep in good shape, girls. You'll go through little brushes 10 times faster than you will big ones because it's very hard to get them clean. Now he's got a cut, goes around his collar. I'm going to go right around his collar of his jacket with a row of checks. Okay, let's see. I'm going to put one more. I think I've got room for one more little row around there, right in between those. Very tiny ones. These paints dry almost as soon as you put them on there, which is a great thing because you don't have to worry about getting your hands in them. Getting your fingers back in. You're using such a little amount of paint. I'm putting a very little touch of paint on there so it dries really, really quick. Okay, see now I've went all the way around the collar of his coat, and I'm going to go around his arms right here. I'm going to put a cuff, a check cuff around his coat. And right down here and put some checks around the bottom of his coat. Over on the other one. That little finger is my guide that keeps me from plopping that down there too hard. See, that little finger goes on that piece first. Okay, now I've got his sleeves done. thing, and I think I'll go right down here to the bottom and put a row of checks around the bottom. Then I may not have to polka dot his jacket. I may just do this. And I just let the pink was what was on him. We just leave that pink on there. As you go along, see as a pattern, because I intended to polka dot his jacket, just what you asked me a while ago. As you go along, your design changes on you. You do something and then you think, well, it'd look better, maybe it'd look better if I do this instead of what I had planned. So it changes on you. Now, his coat is lapped over right here. I'm going to come right down that lap, the outside with the row. See? Now I've went around the coat, all the way around his coat, up on his jacket, up on the top, his collar, all the way around now. Okay, so I'm going to go in now and I'm going to paint his bow black. And I'm going to put some white polka dots in that bow. I need a little bit of something across this egg. Let's see here. If I probably could do a row of checks across that egg, but I don't really want to do black. Let's see if our white will show up. If we put some white checks across that egg. May not show up enough to, the white might not, but we'll try it and see, because we can go back and cover it up. I just come right across the middle. Put a design on the egg. Okay, now I just went right across this egg. Okay, where did you find the rabbit? The rabbit came from Tuesday morning. No, TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx. I bought a bunch of them from TJ Maxx. Okay. He could. Somebody said some yellow. I could put some yellow dots on that flower, or either, on that egg, or either I could put some little flowers, some little dot flowers. Okay, first I'm going to go up here. I'm going to put the black on his bow first and get that done so it'll dry. So I'm going to take my brush and paint this bow black, because I'm going to make it black and white polka dots. I got my door open here in the shop so you can hear that wind just a-blowing. Put my finger in the paint. Tuesday morning, or TJ Maxx, when I went in, that day I went in to shop there, they must have just got them in, because they had, I bet you they had 20 different kinds of rabbits. And I bought about $250 worth that day. And none of them were expensive. I think the most I paid for any of them was about $15. This one was, I think this one was, well, tax and all, this one was probably $14. I think it was $12.95, but our tax here in Tennessee is 10%, so. You might know, I touched my finger to his chin. See if I can get that off. Oh goodness, I'm gonna have to put a little bit of white and put on that to get rid of that. these rabbits are really better made. The rabbits you get at Hobby Lobby, they paint up beautiful, but they are hollow, and they do not. They are so easy to break. You can knock it across the table. You know, you can be moving them across the table and knock it against something, and you can take his ears off or his feet off real easy. So that's the only thing about those, because they're paper mache, some kind of paper mache, and they're hollow inside. Now these are solid. These are molded and they're solid, so these are real sturdy. Okay, now I've got his bow. I'll go back in a minute and do that. I'm going to jump up here and put a little bit of pink, reinforce the pink in his ears. And I'm going to use, let's see what I've got here. This is called vintage pink. I've got some, this gooseberry pink is the best thing for rouge, but you can't buy it anymore. I just happen to have some, you know, some paints. I've still got some of the old colors we used to use, accent colors. Accent paints were amazing. We had some really good colors, and then they discontinued them. Okay, now I'm going to take me a little bit wider flat brush, and I need me a little bit of painting, a little bit of glazing medium, because I'm just going to put a little bit of shading in his ear. Reinforce that pink in his ear. So I'm going to load my brush with the painting medium, and then just load one side with the pink, blend it on my palette. Then I'm going to go right in here in his ears and pull up just like an oval up through there. Just kind of drag it up that side, and then reverse my brush and drag it up the other side. Now I'm not painting the whole, you know, the whole middle. I'm just going around the outside edges. See, I just went in there and put an oval in there. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing over here on this one. Okay, now I've put that in his ears. I'm going to put a little more on his nose too. Just reinforce that pink on his nose just a little. Phew, listen to that. Blow my things off the porch. Okay, I put a little more on his nose. And now I'm going to put some little tiny, let's go back with a color. Let me find me a real pretty color here. Maybe a little bit of yellow. Get a good yellow over here. Here's one. Let's see what this is called, crocus yellow. I haven't used this in a long time. Let's hope it'll come out of the bottle. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my end of my brush. Now I'm going to go down to the stylus because I'm going to make them small. And I'm going to put 4 little dots on the egg, so it looks like little flowers. 1, 2, 3, 4. See here, I put 4 little tiny ones on there. And I'm going to do that all over. This is just the end of my stylus. Hey Cecile, how are you? Okay, that just pops it out a little bit. Right on down on the bottom. It's going to blow my lawn furniture off. It keeps going. My chairs are going to be out in the yard. Okay, now that looks cute. That yellow will set him off. Now I'm gonna go back up and put some white polka dots on his bow tie. Hey, Miss Robin, glad to see you. Put some white on his bow tie and maybe some up on the part of his hat. Just going in here and setting some little tiny dots on his bow tie. The robin's nest. I called you Robin. Terry, I meant. Okay. See that? He looks pretty good. Hey, let's go up there and put a little bit of white up here in these little things too. I'm so bad with names, and that's so embarrassing, girls. I'm lucky I can remember my husband's name. See, each little thing you do like that. See, each little bit you do to it, each little thing makes it just a little bit stronger. Right around the band on his hat. Okay, I think we've got him. We've got him licked. Turned out pretty good. See, this is what we started with, and this is what we ended up with. See, now I can do this other one in different colors. I should have wished I'd had a lady. I didn't find a lady that matched him when I bought him, so I'm sure there probably was a lady at one time, but I don't have one, so okay. He turned out pretty good. I may go back in and see this little white part right down here under his pants. I may go back in and paint that black. Put up me just a little line of black right where that lays down on his foot there. Okay? Now, if you've asked me, okay, Dana, you live in a holler. At least you know what a holler is. And West Virginia was all hollers. And we lived... There's such odd names too. We had a little place there right below the house called Lizard Creek. We lived up, you know, everything at West Virginia's a holler. And a lot of them here in Tennessee's like that too. We have lots of places. I get tickled. I tell my kids, we've been here for years, and my kids, you know, my girls now here, but we get out and go in some of these places, and it's, you know, so far back in the boonies, and you don't have no idea that how many, and it's all farming country back in here. When you're here visiting in Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge area, you would have no idea how many farms and how much cattle raising and farming there goes on in this area. And when they had the fires in Gatlinburg a few years ago, all the homes in those mountains burned out of families that had been in those mountains for 7,500 years. And it burned them out, you know, burned their homes out of the mountains out there. Okay, girls, I think I'm done for today. I'll go back and read your comments. And my granddaughter was born in West Virginia. Linda, where at? What part of West Virginia? I live in southern West Virginia, right down near where Kentucky and Ohio and Virginia and West Virginia all meets, down in the bottom of West Virginia. So West Virginia's a pretty state, but you have to get up in the more northern part, up near the D.C. and Virginia area, for the country to be flat. Ours was all mountains. Where we're from is all mountains. And we have a big, it's a four-wheeling business. I mean, the Hatfield-McCoy trails, Hatfield-McCoy, if you're a four-wheeler and like four-wheeling, West Virginia is, the southern West Virginia is a very place to go. We did that before we came to Tennessee. We sold our four-wheeler when we came down here. But my family all does the four-wheeling and stuff up there, and everybody around. It's a big thing up there. Okay, girls. He turned out pretty good, and I'm going to get out of here. If you've got any questions in the things and I haven't answered them, I'll go back and look at them later this evening, and I'll answer your questions. And if there's something you really need to know, then shoot me a message, and I'll try my best to answer. And I'll be back. I have another doctor's appointment on Monday. This time it's for eye appointment. And when you get old, you got eyes and everything. And you have to do that once or twice a year, so it's just one right after the other. Okay? Okay, girls, I'm out of here, and I'll catch you later. Thanks for all the hearts and stuff, and thanks for joining me today.